Welcome to this Angular Context Menu component tutorial. With the Syncfusion Angular Context Menu, you can display a dynamic menu with a simple right-click or custom trigger, making your interface more intuitive and interactive. In this video, I'll demonstrate how to create an Angular app and add the Syncfusion Angular Context Menu component to it. You will learn how to bind simple and complex data, add icons, navigation links, and customize animations. Before we get started, make sure you have installed the latest version of Node.js and Angular. I'll be using Visual Studio Code as the editor and showing the output in the Edge browser. Let's start with the application creation process. I open Visual Studio Code and install the Angular CLI using the command npm install -g /angular/CLI. Next, let me proceed to create a new Angular project. So I use the command ng new project name and name my project my Angular app. To add a CSS style sheet, I choose the CSS option. The project creation has started, and an Angular project is created along with its dependencies. Now I navigate to the project folder. To add the Syncfusion Angular Context Menu component, I install the Syncfusion Angular Navigations package using the command npm install /syncfusion/ej2 Angular Navigations --save. The application is now ready to use. The first thing I must do here is register the trial license key to use Syncfusion components. I open the main TS file and import the register license method from the Syncfusion EJ2 base package. Using this method, I register the trial license key. To learn how to generate this license key, refer to the link in the description below. The application is now configured to use Syncfusion components. Next, I navigate to the app component TS file, import the context menu module from the Syncfusion Angular Navigations package, and register it within the imports array of the component section. To add a context menu, I first navigate to the app component HTML file and remove the default code snippets. Then I add a division element with a class container. This element will act as the outer layer of the context menu. I am going to display the context menu inside a division element. So I add a division tag with an ID attribute and set the appropriate title for this division. Then within this division element, let me include the EJS context menu tag to add the component. Next, I define the target property and assign this division element ID to render the context menu component within this specific target element. The context menu will not be displayed on the browser right now, as there are no menu items in it. To visualize the context menu on a target element, I need to add appropriate menu items to it. I want to display three options, so I navigate to the app component TS file and define an array named menu items of type menu item model. I assign an array of objects that holds three items with a text property. I set appropriate values to display text in the menu items. Then I assign this array to the items property. I need to add the CSS reference for context menu component. So I open the style CSS file and import the material theme CSS reference. I also added dependent CSS references like buttons, lists, inputs, and pop-ups. To align the component, I define CSS styles for the container and target, including padding, border, height, text align, and width. Now let me save the changes and run the application using the npm start command. When I right-click on the target element, the context menu displays with defined items. Next, let's see how to add icons to the context menu items to provide visual representation of an action. First, I include the icon CSS property in the first item and set the built-in class names as the icons I cut. In the same way, I set the built-in CSS class names for the other two items using icon CSS. These predefined classes apply icons to the menu items within the context menu. I open the style CSS file and assign the appropriate content value to access the icons for the items, cut, copy, and paste. As you can see, the context menu items now display icons. Next, I will show you how to set multi-level nesting in the context menu. You can add any number of child items to each item in the context menu. I want to add sub-options to the paste menu, so I include the items property inside the paste item. Then I add the child items merge formatting and keep source formatting. When I hover over the paste item in the context menu now, its child items are displayed. Suppose you want to display the nested items with a click instead of a hover action. Then you need to use the show item on click property. To demonstrate, I include the show item on click property and set its value to true. See now, when I click on the paste item, it shows the child items. Next, I'll show you how to navigate to another web page when an action item is clicked. To do that, I add the new item called Navigate and set the Syncfusion Angular documentation link to the URL property. When I click the Navigate item, I am navigated to the documentation page. By default, the context menu shows the slide down effect. To change this animation, you can use the Animation Settings property. The supported effects for the context menu are slide down, zoom in, fade in, and none. In the app component TS file, I define an object called animation. Inside this object, I set the effect to fade in and the duration to 800. By default, the duration is 400. Then I navigate to app component HTML and bind this object to the animation settings property. Now, when I click the context menu, it shows the fade in effect. Next, I will show you how to customize the list items using the before item render event. To proceed further, let me retain the first three items and remove other items from this array. I then add the before item render event and assign the event handler item before event. Then I open the app component TS file and define the method that receives an argument of type menu event args. I want to set a custom style to each item. So, in this method, I add the class called custom to each list item. To use the menu event args, I need to import it from Syncfusion/EJ to Angular Navigations package. Then I open the style CSS file and define the custom class with the styles, float, font style, and font size. And now the list items are customized in the context menu. Let me summarize this video. I have shown you how to add the context menu component to an Angular application. You also saw how to use a few of its basic features. If you would like to try out the example used in this video, you can download it from that GitHub link in the description below. I have also provided a link to check if you qualify for a free license key to use our Angular components through our community license. If you found this video useful, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.